Welcome. Thank you for coming to practice. So today's practice again, band, yoga, strap, belt, uh, bathroom tie will come in handy. And since it's Groundhog Day, no better time to have a theme of grounding. So let's get started. And started in a simple cross-leg seated form. And if necessary, you could sit up on a block. Sitting on a block, not cheating. And we'll begin finding that ground in a particular way. So we've done this before standing, but taking index finger and middle finger and just bringing them to the top of your jawbone, lower jawbone, that so-called temporal mandibular joint area. There's a little bony ridge that protrudes out forward from your ears. It's right below that. And then just massaging, little pressure, some circular motion, and going in both directions. And perhaps you've already begun to feel how that has the potential to release your jaw just a bit. And then pausing that circular motion, just drawing your fingers down your jaw towards your chin. And it may be possible that drawing down releases your tongue as well. Jaw relaxed, tongue released, all the way back to root of your tongue. And perhaps closing your eyes, a couple more, drawing down your jaw with fingers. And then just resting your hands on your legs or in your lap so that elbows drop straight down from your shoulders. Pretty much. And finding that release at the root of your tongue. See if it could migrate to the back of your skull, down your neck, across your shoulders, from shoulders down to elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Root of your tongue all the way down to hands. Keeping that awareness, that same place, root of your tongue, migrating to back of your skull. In addition to shoulders and arms and hands, could that release flow down your spine to hips and seat? And all the touch points down there, whatever's touching the ground. All right, just a moment of awareness, perhaps a little bit more connected to the ground. And if eyes are open, eyes are closed, let your eyes open. And then we'll just lightly fold forward. So hands reaching out forward, rounding, folding, finding that first layer of resistance for just a moment or two. And then coming back on up. And hands back by your hips, a little bit behind your hips. So full hand on the floor may invite a little bit more of a sense of connecting down there too. And then rocking forward and back. Yeah, rocking forward and back. Touch points on the floor, on the ground. Maybe even just a shadow of that release at the root of your tongue. And turning that movement into a circular movement, rotating a few times each way. And then coming up straight, and it's right hand to the floor. Now in the interest of staying a bit more grounded, that right hand on the floor may have to lightly press into the floor as left arm comes up and over, pressing in to keep both sides of your seat connected to the floor. Inhaling over and exhaling back. A little bit of pressing into the floor to keep both sides of your seat grounded. Next time arm comes over, pausing there. A little bit of a longer inhale all the way up to little finger. Turning your gaze to look at the floor, hand on the floor, coming back on up. And then it's turning in that same direction, left hand to right knee, right hand comes behind, rotating, turning. And on an exhale, coming on out. Let's go to the other side, but we'll turn first this time. How about right hand to left knee, left hand comes behind. Find that first layer of resistance. And on an exhale, coming on out. And then we'll side tip now to the left side. But again, a little bit of pressing into the ground to keep seat grounded. Inhaling over and exhaling out. Next time we come over, pausing there and inhaling all the way up into that little finger that's up in the air. Turning to look at your hand on the floor and exhale coming on out and then turning in that same direction. Right hand to left knee, rotating, turning, and then coming back on forward and folding forward like you did a few moments ago and seeing what, if any, shift there may be in that first layer of resistance. Inhale, coming back on up. All right. And then coming onto your back, hands on knees. Exhale, knees in towards your shoulders. And inhale, letting them go back out. Just a little bit of release for lower back, some mobility for your hips. And then bringing soles of your feet to the floor. And then lightly tipping those knees off to the left, but keeping foot fully on the floor. So knees don't tip all that far. Lightly tipping side to side. All 10 toes on the floor. And if that range of motion is accessible, you can go ahead and tip a little farther, let your feet lightly tip off the floor as well. And going side to side, noticing how when knees tip one way, opposite hip comes up in the air. Next time, knees are off to one side, one hip is up in the air, pausing there. Doesn't matter which side. And now rather than lifting your knees, can that up in the air hip start to draw down to the floor, hip moving first to pull your knees over, all the way over to the other side, and then hip drawing down. So what if knees couldn't tip this far? You could still press that lighter side hip into the floor, even if hip didn't lift off the floor. So going back and forth, just one more time, hip drawing down. And then draw knees again in towards your shoulders. And inhale, letting them go back out. And next time, knees are drawn in, pausing there. And taking your hands to the floor. And feeling your lower back close to, if not on the floor. From lower back, across to up your back, up to shoulders and back of your head. There's your grounding. All right. See if you can keep that grounding, lower back down there, as knees go back out over hips. And exhale in. So keeping lower back, best you can, from not popping up towards the ceiling. And you might have already noticed the farther away knees go from shoulders, the more challenging this is. All right. Next time knees go out, just bringing soles of the feet to the floor. And then using that same abdominal strength to exhale, roll your lower back into the floor. And inhale, lifting it up. So rolling back down. On the exhale, releasing, inhale. All right. And next time you exhale, roll your lower back down to the floor. Use that same abdominal strength to lift hips up towards the ceiling. And exhale, release them back on down. Feeling how support now when hips are up shifts into your shoulders. Yeah, that place you released way back when root of the tongue was relaxed. Maybe it could do that right here too. All right. Next time, hips come down, pausing there. And just draw knees in towards your shoulders. And then either rolling to one side or rolling up. And coming to hands and knees for a moment. On an exhale, rounding. Inhale, arching. A couple of those movements. And then we'll just step forward, forward, fold. And that same hip tipping movement you've been doing. Inhale, hips tipping forward, bit of a lift. Exhale, rounding, folding. So up and down a couple times. Next time you fold, pausing there. And on an inhale, just rolling up one vertebra at a time, all the way up. All right. Take advantage of that moment to get rid of my cover up. And we'll inhale, sweep up. And exhale, fold. Bit of a lift, inhale, upside down. Exhale, and sweeping all the way back up. So take a moment here to feel your feet on the floor. And then lightly lifting alternate heels to mobilize your knees. Knees, hips, and ankles. And then see if you can make that same movement without lifting your heels. Whole foot on the floor, alternately mobilizing knees. And then releasing that movement and then lightly rotating your feet out to the side and back in. Whole foot still connected to the floor, as if you were kind of working your feet down into the floor and pausing that particular motion. See how that connection to the floor feels. Is it possible to keep that connection as you inhale, sweep up? Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Come to hands and knees. And finding downward facing dog. First dog, so knees can be folded, heels lifted. And then coming forward back to hands and knees. And bringing hips forward. Lowering on down. Drawing forward and up. And back to downward facing dog. So welcome to moving that way again from your knees, lowering down, or a bit more challenge, you could come forward from your feet before lowering down, drawing forward and up, and back to downward facing dog. And now we'll find hands and knees, stepping forward, forward fold. Remember how your feet felt a little bit ago? See if you can find that same connection to the floor right here as you inhale, sweep all the way up. Let's go back right down. Exhale, folding. Bit of a lift, inhale, upside down, exhale, hands and knees. Downward facing dog. And either from knees or from feet, coming forward, straight arm plank, lowering on down, going forward and up. And back to downward facing dog again. So knees can be folded, heels lifted before coming down, hands and knees. All right. Just let's stay on hands and knees for just a moment. Yeah. Had to check my sequence here. And we'll do that. Exhale, rounding, and inhale, arching just a couple more times. And then we're going to come right up to standing. So stepping forward, forward fold, pause for a moment and see if you can find that connection to the ground again. One you had a little while ago. Inhale, sweep it up. All right. Now we can take that familiar wider stance with toes lightly pointed out and perhaps hands at heart, and then alternately lifting heels to mobilize knees, hips, and ankles. And then see if you can make that same knee, hip, ankle movement without lifting your heels. Yeah, it's a smaller movement, more subtle movement, but it may have the power to bring a little bit more contact, foot to the floor. And then we'll just bring knees forward and seat back, exhaling down, inhaling up. Knees forward, seat back. And we've done this alternate movement study before as well, and you're free to choose to go there, or you could continue moving in this way. If you'd like to do the study, that's next time we're up, legs are more or less straight. Rather than knees forward, it's front of your lower leg forward. Place between kneecap and top of your foot draws out towards your toes to bring you down. That same place drawn back in to come up. So front of your lower leg leading the way. May have the power to bring a little bit more support under your feet. Next time we come down, pausing there, dropping your arms. We'll add the arm movement. Inhale, sweeping up. And exhale, folding. Kind of still in warm-up mode. Just adding the arm movement, whole body movement. And checking to see again if Feet are still connected to the floor. Well, they're down there, of course, but it might be a little bit more of a sensation than just feet on the floor. Next time we come down, pausing there, hands to heart, straightening your left leg and the right leg. Yeah, you might have seen this coming. Same study available here as you did just a moment ago. And that would be next time one leg is straight, rather than folding your knee or pressing off with the folded knee. Straight leg, front of the lower leg on the straight leg is going to draw out towards your toes to bring you over. And going back the same way. Lower leg, front of the lower leg on the straight leg side is going to pull you over. And it's not uncommon. You get about halfway over and that front of the lower leg wants to stop pulling. See if you can pull all the way over. And how's that connection to the floor? Yeah. See what's true for you. Next time we come through the middle, just pausing there. And then front of the lower leg going forward just a little bit farther before it pulls back to come up. Stand right here with feet wide, turning your toes forward, and then hands on hips, folding forward and bringing your hands to the front of the lower leg, that place you just moved from a few moments ago. Hands are going to actively press into front of your lower leg. Front of the lower leg is going to press back. In order to help front of the lower leg press back, see if heels can get just a little bit light. You don't have to lift off the floor. And that may mobilize your knees just a bit. That's just what should happen. And can you keep front of the lower leg pressing forward as you bring hands to hips? Keep front of the leg moving forward as you lift your torso. Up, up, up. Keep front of the lower leg drawing forward as you go back down. So, yeah. As front of the lower leg draws forward, even when you move up and down, how's that connection to the floor? Yeah. Both feet, heels a little bit light. How about next time we go down, bring in left hand to the floor in front of you, rotating to the right arm up in the air. Couple breaths here. And then on an exhale, we'll bring that up in the air, hand down, and just trade hands. Hand to hip first, then rotate, then arm up. Yeah. How's front of the lower leg doing? Heels still just a little bit light. Front of the lower leg. Draw it forward a bit. Let's bring that arm down, hands to hips, and folding a little bit farther. Looking down and back between your feet, between your legs. And now, as front of the lower leg draws forward, heel stays light, lifting torso up, 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 all the way up. Oh my goodness. All the way up. Feet can stay wide. Right toes turning in, left toes turning out. And then on an exhale, it's that front knee, left knee folding forward. And inhale, straightening. And next time, knee comes forward, lift the heel of that front foot, left foot. Next time, leg comes straight, lifting forefoot. Yeah, we've experimented with this before. And doing this just so you feel support shift under your foot. more of a direct feeling, direct sense. Next time, leg is straight, forefoot is lifted, pausing there and just letting forefoot rest down. Now, without looking at your leg, your foot, or the floor, bringing knee forward just to the place where support feels about equal, forefoot to heel. And then bringing that same awareness now to the back foot, front to back, side to side, hands to heart. Lifting your elbows, separating your hands, looking out over the left hand. Still mobile and dynamic. Steady, stable. All right, hands to heart, pressing down to come up. Going to the other side. Left toes turning in, right toes turning out. And then just folding that front knee, left knee, and straightening in. This time, rather than rocking your foot, forefoot to heel, see if you can feel the support shift. Knee forward, support in forefoot, knee straight, more support in the heel, a bit. It's a little bit more nuanced, a bit more subtle, but see if you can find how support shifts so that next time leg is straight, you can bring that knee over the center of your right foot without looking, finding support about equal, and bringing that same awareness now to the back foot, front to back, side to side. Elbows lifting, hands separating, looking out over the right hand. Couple breaths here. Remember how we started? Fingertips on temporal mandibular joint, and how that could release your jaw and even your tongue. See if that could work right here. Arms stay wide. Just let your jaw relax all the way to the root of your tongue release. And that may invite neck to let go of shoulders. Yeah. So that shoulders support arms rather than neck. Let's not stay here too long. Pressing down to come up. And stepping feet together. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding. Bit of a lift, inhale, upside down. Exhale, and sweep it all the way back up. All right. Taking that wide stance one more time. Right toes turning in, left toes turning out. So headed for a traditional form that is said to be the most grounding standing form. We'll see if that's true. Bringing that left knee forward and without looking, again, see if you can find it over the center of your foot. Yeah, fine-tuning felt sense. And then bringing that same awareness to the back foot before tipping your hips and bringing hand to shin, front of the lower leg. Like you did a few moments ago in that wide leg form. In order for front of the lower leg to press into your hand, lightly lift the heel of that front foot, folded leg foot. So it doesn't have to be really off the floor at all, just light. And keeping that forward energy in the front leg. That hand that's on your hip, see if that side of your hip under your hand can lift up towards the ceiling, tipping up and forward to begin to bring that front leg straight. Front leg may not come all the way straight, especially if shin is still pressing into hand. Free arm coming up. checking in with connection to the ground. Arm coming down, pressing down to come up. Stepping feet together. Checking in side to side. Just a mindful moment checking side to side difference, if any, before going to the other side. Left toes turn, right toes turn. Hands on hips, or you can bring hands to heart. Either way, you want to, without looking, see if you can find now right knee over right foot. Over the center of that foot. Fine-tuning felt sense. Support about equal. Bringing that same awareness to the back foot before tipping your hips. Hand to lower leg. Hand is going to press into your lower leg. Lower leg is going to press back. Heel is going to lift or get light to help that lower leg press forward. Lower leg energy forward. That place under hand on hip, that side of your hip is going to tip up towards the ceiling and forward a bit. That's going to begin to invite that front leg to come a little bit more straight. Just a bit. Support may begin to shift a bit more into your back foot as well. Before arm coming up. Just a breath or two here. Checking the grounding quality of this form. Arm coming down, knee coming forward, pressing down to come up, stepping feet together. Checking inside to side. All right. Let's see here. Remember the band, the towel, the bathrobe tie. Time for that right now. I'm going to step forward just a bit so you can see my hands a little better. Grabbing the band with knuckles towards the floor, back of the hand forward. And then it's just a little bit of outward pressure on the band. Perhaps feeling where strength engagement in upper body is in order to pull hands apart. Yeah, pretty much in the front of your chest. And then switching that grip so that it's just little finger and ring finger grabbing the band. Remember the peace symbol? Yeah. So kind of grabbing the band as if you were forming the peace symbol in both hands. And now hands moving away from each other. A little bit of outward pressure on the band. Feel how that engages upper back muscles. And on an inhale, lifting band up to shoulder height and back down. Exhale. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Hands in that peace symbol form. Beginning to pay attention to feet on the floor. Pausing next time, band is at shoulder height. And then bringing band up overhead and back to shoulder height. Perhaps you've already noticed when arms come up overhead, lower back wants to arch forward. Next time, arms come down to shoulder height, pausing there. And then, remember, lower leg forward. See if you can do that right here. Lower leg, front of the lower leg, between kneecap and top of your foot, drawing forward, forward, forward. Knees may mobilize just a bit. Keeping that front of the lower leg forward energy, arms coming up overhead. And perhaps lower back has stabilized just a bit. Next time, arms are overhead, pausing there, taking just a little bit wider grip on the band. And then band coming down behind your head to your shoulders and back up. Yeah. Front of the lower leg energy forward, if possible, may help to stabilize lower back. So free to continue, band to shoulders. A bit more challenge would be band all the way down behind your seat, back up. Yeah. So with front of the lower leg drawing forward, forward energy down there. Pausing next time, arms are up overhead. And then just bringing band in front. Pausing to check in with connection to the ground. And then band down. Setting the band aside, done with the band for now. How's this posture feel? Yeah. So you've arrived, haven't you? This right here is Tadasana, mountain form. Qualities of a mountain, steady, stable foundation. Yeah, connected to the earth, for sure. But at the same time, a little bit of lightness, upward energy, openness. All right, let's see here. How about stepping back with your left foot stepping back. And then we'll just mobilize here, bring in front knee, right knee forward, inhaling forward and exhaling back up. Forward and back a few times. And check on that back foot to make sure it's more or less pointed straight forward. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, like on railroad tracks, but pretty close. Let's add an arm movement so that next time you inhale, the forward arms up. And then pausing there before arms straight forward, exhale. Arms open, inhale. Arms down, exhale. So it's inhale. Arms forward, exhale. Inhale. Coming back up. Yeah, remember all of that grounding you did earlier. Feet connecting to the floor. Is it possible there's just a shadow of that feeling even here? Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, open. Exhale up. Next time we come forward, pausing there. And recharging that lift, arms up. Out of that lift, anchoring back, heel down to the floor. And then first transition is hands to heart, inclining your torso and hopping that back foot forward to bring knee up in front and down. Going to the other side, left foot stepping back. So it's a kind of a flowing movement. And you can add arms right away if you choose. Inhaling, lunging, exhaling, arms forward. Inhaling, open, exhaling up. Yeah. So lots of movement going on in the midst of all of that movement. How's connection to the floor feeling? Is it possible you can keep all of that grounding you've cultivated up to this point, not just in front foot, maybe back foot as well? How would you do that? Well, could be lower leg forward. Yeah, even though there's all this other movement going on. Next time we come forward, arms are up, pausing there. And out of that recharged lift, drawing back foot, heel down to the floor. Hands to heart, inclining your torso, hopping the back foot forward to bring front knee up. Setting her down. Okay. Let's head for the floor by inhale, sweeping up, exhale, folding. And just finding your way all the way down to the floor in a prone position. And this time, something a little different. Rather than hands back by your ribs, how about elbows on the floor? Pretty much under your shoulders, a little bit back of your shoulders. Remember grounding. What if you could take your legs wide, shoulder width or leaving a little wider, and then inhale, lightly lifting those legs in. Exhale, heels together and down. So it's inhale, legs wide lifting, exhale, heels together and down. Just one more. Legs may not come all the way off the floor. They may just get light so you could slide them on the floor. All right. And then it's keeping those heels lightly touching. Can you lift torso, neck, and head, pressing down through hands and forearm. And exhale, coming back on down. So, a sometimes overlooked form, so-called Sphinx form, Salamba Bhujangasana, if you like the Sanskrit words. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Next time you come on down, pausing there, and lifting those arms off the floor, bringing hands back by your feet, palms to the ceiling, and then lifting those arms up towards the ceiling and tapping fingernails down just a couple times. And then bringing those arms back to the starting place. And with heels, if not touching, at least rotating towards each other as you inhale, lifting, 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 seeing if there's a bit more range of motion available after lifting arms up and back. Exhale, coming on down. All right. Coming up to hands and knees and all the way back to child's form. And then coming up seated. Seated for just a moment before bringing hands back behind your hips. And then extending both legs forward. And then getting tall in your torso and hinging forward first before folding, just letting the hands slide out along the floor next to your legs. Folding forward, rounding. Perhaps there's a little bit more fold to the floor available by pointing your toes away from your knees, letting the heels press into the floor. And see if that allows you to fold just a little bit, a few centimeters more. Inhale, coming back on up. All right. And then seated with, how about just a fist between your knees and feet about that fist width apart. And then grounding the outside edge of your foot, little toe side, pressing lightly into the floor to press knees into your hand. So hand and a fist between your knees. Knees pressing into hand from the outside of your foot. Pressing, exhale, release, inhale. Yeah, a couple of presses and releases. Pressing, exhale, and then taking feet just a little bit wider so you can get two fists, two hands in there. And same thing, from the outside edge of your foot, little toe side. Exhale, pressing knees together. Release, inhale. All right. One more time, last time. Last press. And then it's going to be feet back to that original position, hands on the outside of your knees. And this time, grounding the big toe side of your foot, ball of your foot. From the ball of your foot, press knees out into your hands. And exhale, pressing. Inhale, release. Exhale, pressing. Inhale, release. Feel how that exhale pressing from the ball of your foot, knees into hands. Feel how that engages abdominal strength. Let's take feet just a little bit wider. About hip width or maybe a bit wider. And begin from the ball of your foot, pressing out. On the exhale. Releasing on the inhale. All right. And then it's bringing hands back by your hips. Letting those knees fall out wide to the side. And getting a little bit taller in the torso. Soles of the feet more or less together. And folding forward, bringing arms forward. Rounding, rounding, rounding. Remember what you did a few moments ago in that other forward fold when legs were straight? It was toes moving away from your knees. So same thing right here. Pads of your toes pressing together as if they were going to press away from your knees. And see if that invites a little bit more of a fold. I'm not suggesting it ought to, just see what's true for you. And then inhale, release. Come on, all the way back up. All right. So, sitting with knees wide, hands on the outside of your knees. And then it's left leg straight forward. I'm sorry, for you it'd be right leg straight forward out along the floor. And this up in the air knee is going to press into your hand before you cross that foot over. And then reaching in under that lower leg to draw things in a bit. And the crossover foot could begin to do some ankle circles as you rotate your torso towards that up in the air knee. Now, up in the air knee is going to continue to press into your hand as if it were running away from your shoulder. Shoulder is going to turn to try to catch up. Okay. And then straightening that lower leg, keeping hand where it is, knee moving out to the side. We'll just switch hands. Bring the other hand back, rotating into that up in the air knee, like you did a moment ago. That crossed over foot. You could lift off the floor and do a few ankle circles. And then releasing on out, turning out, bringing legs straight forward before arms sweeping up in the air, folding forward without looking at your hands. One hand on each leg, not grabbing, not pulling, just resting. See if one arm feels like it's a bit longer than the other. And then looking up to see if it really is longer. Or maybe things felt the same. In that case, they might look the same. Let's go to the other side. Remember how all that started? It was one leg straight out along the floor now. Left leg, hand pressing out on the right knee. So that right knee, foot comes over. And then reaching under that straight out leg, floor leg to draw it in. Yeah. Once again, that up in the air knee has got to keep pressing into your hand so that if hand were to move away, knee would pop out to the side. Knee trying to run away, opposite shoulder turning to try to catch up, rotating towards the up in the air knee. All right, just a few breaths here before straightening that lower leg and switching hands or wrapping your arm. Members of the long arm club. Other hand coming behind. Staying right here, or crossed over foot could do a few of those ankle circles as well. Maybe you've already noticed with straight leg on the floor, all the way from heel through calf and seat. There's a connection to the ground, your old friend grounding. All right, coming back on up, legs forward, arms up, folding forward, with eyes closed or at least not looking at hands to see if things were a little bit uneven last time. Maybe they've evened out a bit now. Opening your eyes, looking to see, coming on back up. All right, so option here, fork in the road. Let's come on to our lower back first, with hands on knees, and exhale, draw knees in towards shoulders. Now, you're welcome to continue moving in this way, or even just pause with knees in, or let feet rest on the floor, knees folded. You can do any of those options, moving like this, resting knees in, or resting feet on the floor, or you could bring feet to the floor. And then remember how we can use abdominal strength to roll lower back into the floor. Arms by your side, rolling lower back into the floor. And then as hips lift up towards the ceiling, bringing your hands under your hips, bringing legs up in the air to support hips and lower back. Yeah, and not having to bring hips forward all that much. But option here to bring legs up and hands support hips so that support is primarily under your elbows in your upper arm, so much so that there's no pressure whatsoever on your neck or the back of your head. If you chose to go here, checking in with connection to the ground. All right, just another breath. No need to overdo any of these things. Folding your knees, bringing knees in and feet to the floor. Pausing right here, feet on the floor. And then drawing knees in towards your shoulders, balasana. And then bringing the knees wide, soles of your feet together. We've been here before, seated, haven't we? And rather than grabbing and pulling your legs, your feet in, just let your hands rest up towards your ankles, on your lower leg. Perhaps rocking hips side to side, or even a bit of a circular motion. Remember circular motion we started with? Pretty similar right here. Now, all the way back then. The idea back then was connecting to the ground. Could be the same thing right here. Feeling how whole back, from back of your hips through low back, upper back, shoulders, even back of your head, connected to the ground. All right, and then crossing one ankle over the other, and hands could still rest on lower leg or ankles, or if available, you could reach up and grab a big toe in each hand and continue that light rocking, perhaps rotating motion. feeling the support of the ground, and then crossing other ankle on top. Same thing here. A little bit of rocking, a little bit of rotating if you so desire. Often we forget that Newton's third law, I think it was, for every force, for every action, there's the equal opposite reaction. Gravity drawing us down, yes. At the same time, Earth supporting, yes. Just feeling that support, either from moving or from resting, before bringing soles of the feet to the floor. And then soles of the feet could stay on the floor, knees folded, or legs could go straight out. See what feels more useful. Yeah, I've said before, I really like that word useful because you pretty much know right away which form is more useful. Just feels different. I haven't done much with breathing today. Occasionally synchronizing breath and movement, but perhaps right here, giving your mind a job to do by noticing your breathing, how inhale arises and exhale dissolves. It's kind of like sitting on the beach watching the waves come in. You don't try to control the waves. There's no way you can. Even though you could control your breath, just let it do whatever it does. See how inhale arises, exhale dissolves. Welcome to continue with that intention, or you could just let it dissolve, let it drift away. No particular intention for breathing or form. All right. One of these next exhales, letting it be like a sigh of relief exhale. Maybe even out through your mouth. And if you try that out through your mouth, might notice if jaw relaxes, tongue releases. If so, does that deepen the connection to the ground? All right. Eyes are closed, free to open your eyes. And then drawing knees in and either rolling to one side or rolling up straight. Coming seated. Waiting for everyone to come seated. Oh, I see the sun is shining, so hopefully Groundhog came out of his burrow earlier when it was cloudy. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, and start. Namaste. Thank you for coming to practice.